Yep, you asked for it. Slop! Oh, but it ain't just any slop, alright? It's festive slop, because it's the 12 days of SLOPMAS. I mean, it's not actually 12 days. There'll be videos over the course of 12 days, and actually 6 of them. But every day, Santa's little slop elf is gonna open a little door on the advent calendar of slop. Take it away, slop elf. What's behind door number 1? Did somebody say SLOPMAS? I genuinely don't know what was behind that door, so this is going to be very interesting to see in the edit. But we got 6 little doors on our advent calendar, and whatever's behind them, I don't know. We're going to find out at the same rate that you guys are going to find out. But now we've had our little bit of festive joy from behind whatever monstrosity of an advent calendar that was. Today we're doing the big tier list. The Paradox Game tier list. A lot of people asked for this on the other tier list I did, and I think I kind of promised it at one point, but today you're finally going to get quite a few opinions on a lot of Paradox games, and some you might be surprised by, others you probably already know. And I think realistically, I'm probably Paradox's harshest critic in a lot of regard for their games. I'm not a big fan of the new ones. I am kind of stuck in my way with the games that I do like and I do enjoy, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But, you know, I've actually come around to a few of them, so we're just going to start off from how they're ordered. CK2. I haven't played a lot of it since CK3 actually came out, so my thoughts on CK2 are probably pretty outdated and limited. I definitely think it goes without saying, CK2, absolutely great game, whole bunch of stuff, loads of content in it, and I guarantee if I went back to it and played it, I'd probably enjoy it a lot. It's just, you know, I also really like CK3, so I'm going to just put it probably on like a high A tier. I mean, for me personally, I think that's where it would sit. I haven't played it since CK3 came out. In fact, let me just go check the last time I played CK2. Last time I played CK2 was March 4th, 2020. So just for that, I think for my personal feelings there, I've got to put it down to a B tier because I obviously don't like it that much, do I? Okay, next up, a game I do play quite regularly, CK3. And I think CK3 is definitely an A tier game. Now, if you haven't played it since all the new updates and DLC and whatnot, go get yourself the subscription, try it out for a month or whatever with all the DLC, and believe me, it's come pretty damn far from where it was on release. I enjoy it. It's definitely very casual, very like dumbed down in a lot of ways, but it's just that wacky type of fun that I love in a Paradox game, especially a role-play game like CK3. It's the right amount of wacky. You know, a lot of people criticize it because it's a bit too easy in some regards. I just enjoy it. I can load up CK3, have myself a fun game no matter what. Crusader Kings complete. Okay, so CK1, I actually did play this quite a bit back in the day. I'm just going to put it down though in a D tier. I reckon if I went back now, it's probably not that good. Hey, but I probably have close to about 100 hours in CK1, and I did enjoy it a lot back in the day, although it very quickly fell off in a lot of regards to me because I just started playing more and more Total War games, and Paradox released more and more just better games. Darkest Hour, man, I think Hoi 4 on my channel would not exist without Darkest Hour getting me into the series. Now, it is good. I don't think I could go back and play it, but just out the fondness and the hundreds of hours I put into Hoi 2 and Darkest Hour split between them, man, this channel and any other my other channels would not exist without this game. But damn, it is a great game, and maybe if you haven't tried Darkest Hour and you kind of want to give a go to any of the old Paradox games, I think Darkest Hour is actually up there with one that still holds up pretty well. It's not overly complicated like Hoi 3, but it's still pretty fun. Okay, EU3 is going to be a complicated one. I'm going to put it a high D tier because I really loved EU3, and I have, again, hundreds of hours in EU3. But if you weren't there back in the day, there was a lot of DLC changes in EU3 that I both liked and didn't like. I think peak EU3 for me, if you're an old man and you're also playing EU3 on release, was Heir to the Throne. I was definitely the biggest fan of EU3 around that time period. When Divine Wind came out, quite a lot later, actually, that's when I really started to hate EU3. There was just something about that DLC that I can't even remember off the top of my head that just changed the game, and I really hated it. Again, though, I don't think this channel, again, would even exist if I didn't really like EU3 back in the day. I think a lot of my early Paradox games were definitely between EU3 and Darkest Hour, maybe even more EU3 at the start and then Darkest Hour. I think that's actually the way around it went. You know, one thing I definitely got to say for EU3, I love the soundtrack of this game. I don't know if you've ever gone ahead and given it a listen. Just go find a playlist of it, just put it on. It still slaps to this day. Yeah, EU4. You know, I was really disappointed in EU4 on release. It got better. I can't remember what DLC I really started hating EU4 on. It was, I think maybe like after around like Common Sense or something. Whatever added province development. Ever since then, that's just when I really started hating that game. I mean, EU4, it's one of those games that I think just turned into whatever, you know, the very hardcore part their fan base wanted, kind of like Hoi 4 actually, where it stopped talking to me and started talking to people that were probably, I don't even know what to say really, but definitely not on my same wavelength of what I enjoy of Paradox games. I think it also just got in like a big you know, self-serving, just constantly nerfing things because the players got too good, but the players that got too good were the most hardcore, that were just trying to break the game. They were just nerfing stuff just to nerf them at points, and I think that just takes the fun out of Paradox games. Sure, if something's brokenly nerfed, why not? But they were just nerfing stuff because, you know, if you put too much effort and work into ridiculous things that only a minute amount of people would do, that severely affected just the casual player, that it just fell off for me pretty big. All right, I think is that Hoi 2? That's got to be Hoi 2. I used to like Hoi 2. I played a lot of Hoi 2 actually, but as soon as, you know, I got my hands on Darkest Hour, that's just like the Hoi 2 Director's Cut Edition. If you actually don't know, Darkest Hour was like, Paradox used to do this thing back in the day where they made like they allowed people to license out their engines and make their own game if you're like a small dev team. That backfired horrendously for a little other projects like East versus West, if you know about that, which is a Cold War version of Hoi, I believe. But yeah, they used to occasionally license out their games or their engines and then let you make a game for them, which is where Darkest Hour came from. It was a very good game, and it just improved on Hoi 2 by hundreds of different ways. Okay, Hearts of Iron 3. I was never a fan of Hearts of Iron 3 at all. It's probably my, you know, yeah, it's definitely all the way at the end here in terms of gameplay. In fact, now that I'm looking at this, I'm going to put EU3 up just a little bit. Just the Heir to the Throne version, though. We're talking Divine Wind. It's definitely right there. But yeah, Hoi 3 never spoke to me in any way which imaginable, especially coming from Darkest Hour. I was like, man, this is horrendous. I don't even have to talk about it too much. I think Hoi 3 is definitely the black sheep of the Hoi family, and you know, it's not that controversial. Hoi 4, well, obviously it's going to be an S tier, because if it's not an S tier, this channel would disappear. Yeah, I don't really have to talk about that. S tier. Imperator, I don't think Imperator's as bad as some people, you know, make it out to be. I think it's just a shame that game just got dropped, which it did make sense because it was probably a net loss for Paradox, but it's definitely just like a fun little sandbox game. Nothing crazy, but it definitely deserved a little bit more attention, a little bit more love. Just unfortunately it couldn't happen. I imagine a lot of shareholders probably weren't too happy about that, and the dev cost for keeping it going for a very small amount of players, yeah, it just wouldn't be worth it. It also doesn't help as well that I think the game game it launched on such terrible terms, and then it did get better with a few updates, especially reworking the whole pop system. But yeah, and the modifiers and the mana, it launched very badly, but it did get a little bit better. So definitely in terms of like the newer Paradox games, I think it is like, man, is it a C tier or just a high D tier? I'm looking, like, if I'm thinking about this tier list in games that I'm most likely to play, yeah, I think it deserves C tier, because I could see myself playing Imperator at some point, but I definitely would not be playing any of these games down here at any point. Oh, speaking of games I'm never going to play, I think I did 1, maybe 2 videos on this channel of Rome, and that's essentially Imperator before Imperator. Rome Gold was it good? I don't think it was good. I can't even remember it. So I'm going to put, you know, it is D tier. Technically, I did play it, and the fact I can't remember anything about it, that's probably where it belongs. All right, well, unironically, March of the Eagles, S tier. What an ambitious game. I mean, yes! Sengoku. I've never actually played Sengoku. I think I tried it for about an hour. And I don't think that's enough to say that I really played Sengoku, but it's essentially just a, what's the word they used to use? Like a dev test game, like March of the Eagles. And ironically, we're just going to put March of the Eagles down now that I've just realized it's still up there. It was essentially a test like March of the Eagles was for their next game, which I believe was CK. So Sengoku, I don't know if it's good. I've tried it and I can't remember a single thing about it. So that, yeah, it's definitely going in never played. Oh, and also, if you don't know what Sengoku is, it's just essentially Crusader Kings, but just in Japan. And, yeah, you haven't heard of it for a reason. Stellaris. I don't think Stellaris is as bad as... in fact, every time I go back and play Stellaris, which albeit is a sponsored video, it's not bad, you know? It's just the big problem for Stellaris with me is that I'm just not that into space. Space and 4X games are just like, they don't go together for me. 4X games in general, and obviously space games in general, they're not for me. Unless it's like Dead Space and you're just, you know, walking around stamping on little weird babies. Then I can get into space. But ironically, if I was to, you know, keep going back to Stellaris, I don't think I'd make videos on it. But when I went back and did my latest DLC video on Stellaris, where I was just playing that planet-eating, like, fungi or whatever, that was pretty good. And ironically, I enjoyed that game quite a bit. But the truth is, the thing with Stellaris is a lot the problem with, like, EU5 for me is once you've played a game, you don't really recapture the joy of playing that first game. So I think Stellaris is a game I can come back to, you know, once every few years, really enjoy a game, and then I'm done. You know, that's as far as it will go. So I think C tier is definitely where it goes. Plus, I'm not that involved with, like, the Stellaris updates DLC, so when I come back, you know, there's a lot of new stuff happening. The game's different every damn time. I'm not familiar with the drama and what's broken and what's not, that I can enjoy it, which is why it's going to stay in C tier. Victoria 2, definitely a high B tier. I would put it in either an A or a S tier, but realistically, whilst I really enjoy Victoria 2, and I can go back, you know, any which day I want to, if I ever feel like doing a Vicky 2 binge, there's so many fun mods for that game. It is really old, it's really dated, there are a whole bunch of problems in the game that I can still enjoy it, but the reason I enjoy it is definitely like nostalgia goggles, because it is definitely old. There's so many problems with the game. It's so damn broken. But man, if that ain't the charm of Victoria 2, I think the saddest part of Victoria 2 is that it just came out in a bit of a weird time for Paradox, where they hadn't really like blown up with their, you know, continuous updates and DLC cycles that they do now. That game just didn't get enough love in it. It definitely just deserved way more than it got. Because, oh boy, if that game had just received even just a couple more patches, I think it would still live up even more so than it already does, and would still probably be played quite a bit, even though I reckon it probably is still played, even if it's a little bit less than it was since Vicky 3 came out. It'd probably be up there with the greats, I'm going to be real with you. But for me, personally, Victoria 2, incredibly fun. Some of the best videos on the channel have been on Victoria 2. Some of the best, like, multiplayer videos that I've been in with, like, the Bow channel and stuff have been on Victoria 2. Yeah, unlike unlike this game. Where do I put this? Yay. Oh, shucks. Victoria 3, it's just, it does not do it for me in any way. It's getting better with updates, but it's still not a game that I should ever feel like playing. Yeah, no matter what they really do to this game, it just doesn't bring me back in. I just don't find it fun. The gameplay loop and exactly what you end up doing in the game just isn't rewarding to me in the slightest. And whilst it is fun to come back and like try out the new update, see it's going in a better direction, it's definitely not the overall direction that I would have wanted the game to be in the first place, because the issue with Victoria 3 is that I just don't like the idea of the game, how it plays, you know, the stuff you actually do that I don't think is ever going to fundamentally change. I just don't know where to put it on this list, so I'm going to be real. It's definitely, you know, a C tier game, I think, maybe even like a high D, but would I genuinely rather play Stellaris than Vicky 3? I mean, probably not, but would I have more fun in Stellaris, honestly? If it was a DLC, probably. I don't know where to put it though, I'm gonna be real. I don't want to play it. I think Darkest Hour is definitely a game I'd like to play less of, just because it's so dated and old. And I mean, sure. Now, I think that's the best place I can really put it, because it's fundamentally just a really mid game. The issue with Victoria 3 for me is that I just don't like how it plays. And unless they really change up something and the game doesn't, you know, it moves away from just endlessly you know, cookie clicking on factory build, expand, change, RGO, input, production. Unless it really moves away from that, and also, you know, makes the AI not horrendous, I can't ever see myself putting it higher than a C tier, but it has gotten better from release. I'll give it that. Okay, Vic 1. I only ever played like a little bit of Vic 1 way back when. Didn't really like it, didn't mesh with it. In fact, yeah, I have played it a lot. I have actually played it, unlike Sengoku. It's definitely, it's just one of those old Paradox games. It's a D-tier Paradox game. Oh, shucks, sorry, this one's going to be controversial. Definitely bottom of C tier. EU5, so obviously my impressions with EU5 were super horrible and low in the first place, because my first game with it was just horrendously bugged. I couldn't even play it and it just crashed. But having done one proper campaign, and then obviously the video where I played all the way through, and then one I did on my own time as England, and then I did a Byzantine game, I can tell you that everything past 1500 in this game is horrendous. Like, they polished, you know, the front of the shop. They got like the, you know, the first things you see, you know, you're like, oh, there's quite a bit in here, you know, there's a lot going on. And then you peek around the curtain and it appears the shop's on fire. EU5 was super front loaded in terms of, you know, stability and things that worked, that if you ever get past 1500, especially on multiple campaigns, that game falls apart so damn hard. And I know a lot of people were like flaming when I said this in my first game, that were like, no. Then in the second game, people flamed, but a little bit less. I think given time and the fact there's not going to be any big, you know, updates or DLC for EU5 for like a year now, whenever you've looked at the release schedule for what they're coming out with, people are going to get really fed up with EU5, in my opinion. Once you've played like one game, it just doesn't feel any different from playing any other nation. I'm going to be real with you, especially those later years. They get so damn painful. The lag, horrendous. The AI still does absolutely nothing. I can see a lot more people coming around to the idea that EU5 is just not very good, and I don't think it's very good. You could probably get better with time, but there are so many issues with the game, just fundamentally at the moment. I can't put it anywhere higher than bottom of C tier right here. Also, you know, there's this overly complicated idea that, you know, EU5 is some giga brain, you need to get the NASA computer science degree to be able to play it. It's not. And once you get over the hump of, you know, learning the UI and stuff, you very quickly learn there's just not a lot in it. There's so many people saying so much dumb stuff when the game was released, like, oh, this game has more events than EU4 on release than it did at the end of EU4's life cycle. Well, guess what? You know what the event is? -7 stability. minus 10 prestige, minus 7 stability. And the fact that the historical events you do get, like, they're not a decision or a mission tree like other Paradox games. If an event or a decision just randomly pops and you're in no position to currently do it, like, sometimes you get special buildings that will pop up. You can't say, hold on a second, let me get some money. You've got to say, okay, I'm going to click this decision right here on my screen. Otherwise, I will never get the opportunity to do so again. But it will require bankrupting my entire nation to do it. I could ramble about everything I hate about this game to an hour-long video, I reckon. So I'm even just saying that right there. That just kind of rambled out of nowhere, didn't it? We'll leave it there for now. It belongs. I was going to put that there for a meme, but I'm going to put it there to be controversial. Okay, final look-see. I think this is definitely, what I like the look of. I could potentially even move things around a little bit here. I reckon, CK3, probably an A tier. Vicky 2, maybe an A tier. Yeah, this works. Hoi 4, CK3, Vicky 2 are definitely like my best Paradox games. The ones that I can play just endlessly for thousands of hours and have the most fun with. So I think S tier is definitely where I'd put those right there. I mean, Vicky 2, super dated, and realistically, it probably is just a B tier, but I have nothing else that I can think of that I would put in A tier right now. I'm just going to leave it there. And that's my final list. I'm interested to see what everyone else thinks. I don't think it's going to be that surprising if you watch my channel as to what I actually think about these games, because you can tell what I play a lot of on the channel, but I don't play a lot of. Can we put an F tier for E5? But that was your little SLOPMAS of today. I hope you enjoyed it, and leave your controversial comments and opinions down below on what you think your Paradox tier list is. And hopefully you enjoyed what was behind that advent calendar and it wasn't too horrifying.